In one of the Academy Award ceremonies, the president of the Academy Awards said this, which I think is very nice. In every culture of the world, storytelling is the connecting link. Storytelling is not a static art form. It's the best of tradition in touch with today. It also enables tellers to absorb the cultural traditions that may be different from their own. This is only possible is when you find a story to tell, you learn as much about the culture as you can and treat the story with dignity and artistry. This venture in human relationships enables tellers to develop what is called a plurality of cultural roots. This is necessary in selecting and telling stories to know and understand the people and the cultural environments where the tales originated. I use storytelling as an important means of sharing cultures of the world through the art of storytelling. I also use storytelling for all age groups, regardless of how young or how old they may be. But unfortunately, when you speak of storytelling, many people relegate it to the nursery, which is unfortunate. So in my work, and since I've had so many travels overseas, lecturing in different cultures, different countries of the world, I've been able to find and collect stories as well as learn more about the cultures, actually living sometimes in the homes of the people where I'm going to be speaking or lecturing. Sometimes I have been asked, well, do you know any particular story from the Ashanti tribe in Africa? And I shall select one from that. Usually these African storytellers might begin something like this. We do not really mean that what we're about to say is true. A story, let it come, let it go. And the story I would like to share with you is from the Hat-Shaking Dance by Harold Kurlander. Why wisdom is found everywhere. A long, long time ago, Kwaku Anansi considered him the wisest creature in all of the world. He could build roads. He could build dams. He could mend nets. He could fish. He could even hunt. There was not anything he could not do. And all of this wisdom, Anansi gathered it for himself. But he was a very, very selfish creature and did not wish to share this with anyone else. So he kept wisdom, watched over it carefully, but one day he grew tired of this tiresome task. So he decided he would call his wife, Eso, go down to the riverbank and fashion me a clay pot large enough to hold all of the wisdom that I have collected. With wonderment on her face, Eso went down to the riverbank. There she began to mold a pot from the clay on the beach. She worked on it, and she worked on it, and she worked on it, until at last she had fashioned a huge pot with a long, narrow neck. When that was done, she lifted it. It was such a burden, so heavy. She carried it back to her husband, Anansi. He took it, carefully looked at it to see if there were any cracks, and then satisfied, he put the pot down, and the wisdom that he had gathered, he began to push down, down, down into the pot. And then he put in the stopper and tied it with thick thongs. Now he thought, where can I hide this pot so no one may be able to find it? At last he remembered the tallest tree, not far from the village. So holding the pot in front of him, he went up, up, up to the tree. And there he tried to grasp the tree with the pot in front of him, and just below his nose, the stopper, so the pot would be balanced. He had a thong around his neck to hold the pot up. He tried. He tried, but he couldn't, because the pot was in the way. He couldn't grasp the trunk of the tree. Anansi grew warm. Anansi grew hot. Anansi grew angry. Anansi began to swear. Now all this while, his son Intikuma, who had been following his father, secretly looked and was curious at the antics of what his father was doing. At last, Intikuma couldn't stand it any longer. Jumping up, and very timidly he said, "Father, may I offer you a suggestion?" Anansi, embarrassed, turned around. "What do you mean spying on me?" "Father, I do not wish to spy on you, but I wish to offer you an advice." "Go away. This is none of your business." "Father," Intikuma persisted, "if you wish to climb the tree, take the pot from in front of you and put it behind you." Anansi paused, then embarrassed. He did as his son said. Now the pot was behind him. He could grasp the trunk of the tree. He began to climb up, 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 but halfway up, Anansi stopped. He was so embarrassed, so ashamed. Here he was with all the wisdom in the world, and had not used a bit of it to help him out. In anger, he took off the thong around his neck, and he let the pot fall to the ground. It broke into many pieces. And when people heard what happened, they all came because the wind carried the wisdom, all scattered all around. And even the wind carried some of it on the water, and the water carried it to different parts of the earth. Now it is said, if you ever see a foolish man, you can be certain he was not there when wisdom was being given away. But the Ashanti people want you to remember, when you hear such a story like this, remember the old African proverb, which is simply, one head cannot exchange ideas with itself.